Hi guys, Michelle here, mum of 3, and additional needs are a big part of our family. Just wanted to share an experience I had about 3 weeks ago. So my youngest fella, who has got autism and ADHD, was in the bathroom, and he's got severe pica as well. So he decided to drink one of the items in the bathroom. I think it was like purple shampoo or something, because he's got really expensive tastes. And it was after, I think it was about 7 o'clock. So obviously, as you know, the doctor's surgeries close at about 6 o'clock. So there's the issue of, okay, do I go to A&E or is there a doctor on call that I can go to? So I don't know if you know this, but generally most doctors' practices actually come together and they have like an on-call service. So what happens is you can go online and you can type in DDoc, that's for Dublin, NEDoc, that's for where I live in the northeast. So, and you'll come to a website and there's a phone number on it. So basically how it works is you call the number and it's for when you're unable to get to your doctors. And the receptionist will answer the call. And then what happens is she takes all your details and then a nurse will call you back, depending on how busy it is, but usually about 20 minutes, depending on the urgency. And they'll triage you on the phone. They'll say, you know, because we've had to do this a good few times because my youngest fella gets like really high temperatures and febrile seizures, so we do this a lot. So they will tell you, you know, okay, maybe you do need to see the doctor, maybe you don't need to see the doctor, and you know, or see how he gets on, give him some Calpol and Nurofen, and then call us back. On this case, however, they did recommend that we be seen. So it's a really, really good service. And what usually happens is that there'll be a local hospital or a local clinic that stays open through the night for emergencies like that. So we were on the phone to the nurse who was assessing us, and they call back on private number. So it's really important to make sure that you answer a private number on it, on your phone when it rings. So we were onto the triage nurse and I explained that he was drinking shampoo and I didn't know how much he drank. So she said that we would probably have to go to the hospital because if he drank it, just to monitor his stats and everything else and for poison control. So she said she'd recommend us to go up to the A&E. So we did that. We went up, and what I did was, my little fella can't stay in a room. He just can't do it. He can't stay in a waiting room. Not possible. He will just have a complete meltdown. He will start biting himself, hitting me, hitting other people. So what I tend to do now, and it's actually been working really, really well, is I call the A&E before I go up and I say, look, I've got a child coming in, level 3 autism, ADHD, he's non-verbal and he cannot wait in a room. And I understand there are people who are more serious medical issues there than us, but that I will be unable to keep him in the waiting room or for an extended period. And usually, and not all the time because it depends on how busy they are, but usually, and on our previous night, this is what happens, that we went in and because I'd rang ahead, they said, that's fine, we'll make a note of it. And when you come in, we'll triage you as quickly as you can. So we went in and I was checking him in as normal. I said, look, I called ahead. She goes, oh yeah, we have that information. So they brought me straight in. And what they did is they had a little room and they said, okay, you can just stay in here. And it was great because I had a door that I could lock that he couldn't get out. So he still tried to get out and was kicking and hitting the door, but it meant that I wasn't having to try and hold him because we've been there before where we've had a cubicle and yeah, it was just a nightmare. It was a nightmare to the point that it was so difficult trying to keep him in the bed on the trolley in the emergency ward because it was all open, that it was actually easier to bring him home and wait for the doctor the next day, but we couldn't do that this time. So what they had is they actually had a room in the emergency department that had a door, had a bathroom, and then the nurse actually came in and triaged us in the room. And then the doctors came in after. Now we did have to wait just like everybody else, but it meant that we were in a safe space. So not only did it have a door and it was a secure place, but it also had a projector, and I had some sensory toys in there as well. So it was really, really good. Now, I'm the first one to complain when services aren't good, but I also think it's really important to say when services are really good or when they did a really good job. So they did a really good job that night. So I'm very thankful to them for doing that. And it meant that it wasn't as stressful for me, so he was more relaxed. We got the ECG done in the room, we got bloods taken in the room, and he could use the toilet. We were able to turn off all the lights, and yeah, he was still agitated because it was an environment he didn't know and didn't want to be in. but it meant that it was the best of a bad situation, and just that little bit of thought of the teams, whoever manages that floor, of having that room available to children with additional needs. And obviously, as someone who has a severe medical emergency, obviously you're going to say nothing, they go first, like everybody knows that. But if it is available to have access to a room like that within the emergency department, it was a game changer, because a lot of the times when our kids are sick, or I think they swallowed something that they shouldn't, like it's very difficult even trying to get them into the car in the middle of the night to get to an A&E, and then like it's a nightmare just trying to get them to wait in an emergency room. And like, you don't want to push yourself ahead of other people, but at the same stage your child is so distressed that you can't really stay. So I suppose that's my top tips. So one, if your doctor's surgery closes at 6, which most do, go online and look for out of hours doctor. And actually, usually on your doctor's website there'll be a little area where they'll say out of hours, call this number. You get an appointment, you go in to your local clinic, or if it's more significant, to your local hospital. Ring the hospital in advance and tell them you're coming in with a child with significant needs that can't wait, and do they have a secure space that you could stay in. And my sincere thanks to all the team in the accident and emergency in Our Lord's Drogheda. It was really, really good. So thank you.